Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024, the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make a difference.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635-9906.
Jamu Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamu, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamu Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamunomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamu Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamu Money Transfer.
Agadadi.
Mbijan aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsan. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agadadi.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom Yona Forest de Bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata another enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol di fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
barka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Barka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the brunch on Live. I'm Jamu, and in this week's brunch we will look at developments in the Gambia and of course neighboring Senegal. In the Gambia government has now speak out for the first time about the FGM issue. Remember, of course, there is a bill in Parliament which is seeking to repeal the Women's Amendment Act of 2015, which outlawed the practice of FGM. The private member bill, sponsored by, of course, the Honorable Almami Jiba of Kansala, Pony, is seeking to repeal that law. There have been a lot of tension with mainly religious leaders, Islamic religious leaders, to say, that forming and expressing deep opposition against maintaining the law. It's now into the second reading in the National Assembly, and there are fears that it could get repealed. However, for the first time, the Gambia government has spoken out in favor of maintaining the bill in the laws of the Gambia, according to briefings that were made at the United Nations by our mission there for the Honorable Minister for Women's Affairs and Gender, Fatou Kinte. So now, it's clear that the Gambia government is against repealing the law. We'll also discuss a Gambia government statement which says that the government is now supposed to pay up to £20 million plus interest after losing a court battle against a private investor in the Gambia whose properties were allegedly seized by former President Yaya Jammeh. The Gambia government said this is one example of Jammeh's excessive abuse of power, which we as a country now should continue to pay for. We will discuss that too. And then of course we go to Senegal, because there is a president who has only 3 days to go. And we will also discuss the newcomers in Senegal, the newcomers into power, look at their doctrine and policies, its implications on the Gambia, Africa, and the world at large. And with me in the studio to do that is Professor Momodou Bah, politician and an academician who follows Senegal and studied in Cheikh Anta Diop University, followed Senegalese politics very well. A veteran journalist, Demba Ali Jawo, who worked in Senegal for 10 years and followed Senegalese affairs. We will have also Yusuf Tailor, flag stand from the Gainago, who had been following Parliament and Senegalese affairs very well. He will join us later. First though, we move to Professor Bah. Professor, I didn't hear from you
when the debate about FGM was raging. Now that the government have spoken out, what is your position?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. A back-to-back invitation.
Yeah, I promised the viewers.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I would like to greet my senior man, Mr. Demba Ali Jawo, whom I want to acknowledge that I've used one of his books when I was writing my Master 2 thesis.
All right.
That is the book called Focus.
Okay.
And I believe that the Pasteur people should,
Really? I didn't know Jawo was just an accomplished, writer.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Well, Focus was a very useful book, for me, concerning the transition between President Jammeh's, era, towards also narrating with a lot of articles concerning the previous regime.
Absolutely.
His journalistic work.
Yeah, he followed it.
Yeah.
It was very critical. I remember when we were at the Daily Observer, he had a series of columns every Friday. Focus.
So thank you for
That
that.
cost me my job at the Observer.
Yeah, cost him his job. But interestingly, he was never in exile. Many people thought he was in exile, but he was always coming and going. Yeah.
Okay, so concerning this topic, I think this is a very sensitive thing as far as our country is concerned, because a topic that divides people need to be very, very careful on what to say about it. Okay, so there are two camps.
Are you two going to be shy of taking a position?
I'm not going to be shy on taking a position, but I just want to tame things, because when things are so tough, when things are so difficult, there must be people who just try to tame the things. But my position is very clear. It's like when talking about this FGM issue, it is something that was sold to us by the previous government, and it is an achievement, and it is very difficult to.
You mean the law banning it?
Yeah, the law banning it. That was since under the Jamu administration. Yeah. And when you have an achievement, it is very difficult to do away with it like that, or to throw your achievement like that. It is an achievement for the fact that it was agreed that FGM, we can even use, like, there are other people who refuses to use the word FGM. So we have to be careful on that also.
Yeah,
and we have to listen to some of their complaints. Like what they are saying is that it is not FGM, but it is
whatever it is.
Yes, it is. Female circumcision. So this is a debate. We just have to accept, to debate, to talk about issues, that are affecting us. Okay, other people. Now, even if we didn't, or even if you don't agree with them, we just have to, hear some of their concerns. So in this case, like, we were already told that it is FGM, and it is not good, and this, all of us accepted it. This is why we went to the National Assembly. We voted it, and it was put into law. The imams who are here, like those people who are against, who throw their
weight for the law to be repealed. They were here when it was
yes, they were here when it was voted into parliament. So they didn't tell us anything. They didn't tell us that it was they didn't complain about it. And we grew up and then believing the fact that that is how it is. But today you cannot just come one day and then you try to make you let us know that this was not something that is good.
Fundamentally, the argument is that it is religious. Do you believe it is Islamic?
Yes, some religious scholars, that is what they've said. But still now in their arguments, I haven't seen where they quoted any particular verse. Any particular verse, or some just say that it is not mandatory. Okay, it is not mandatory. It is optional. It is optional. It is a sunnah. Okay, when it is a sunnah, you can choose to do it or not do it. Okay, so it is not something that is compulsory upon us. So this is why.
But what do you think we should do as a state? Maintain the law, as the government said they intend to do? Or
Yes.
what the scholar said, the Islamic relay said, remove the law and leave it optional? That's
that is not the latter. The latter is not my position.
Your position.
It's not my position. My position is that it was already voted into law. It is an achievement because it was argued, it was debated.
It should stay.
It was debated. So I believe it should stay.
Yeah.
That is my. But my concern also is that let us just try to discuss with them and let them know the reasons why.
No, they have said that they are compromising. They said
it is bad.
it is religious and they cannot abandon their religious practice for whatever reason. So
Yes.
for them, it's uncompromising. They have said it is religious and they accept that it has to be done. Now, when it stays, anybody who does it should be prosecuted. So that's where the problem is.
Yeah, so you just, as I just said, because some of them said, like the terminology that we use here, some of them said it's FGM. Okay. So is it truly FGM or female circumcision? So this is what we have to.
Whatever the case is, the people who are for the eradication of whatever it is, they just said nobody should be subject to any harmful practice, whether it is FGM or it is FG, they call it. People should be left alone. So in that argument, whether it's FGM or the other one, it doesn't matter. What should be, girls and women should be left alone. That's the argument.
Yeah, for me.
So whether it's FGM or another thing, it's not important.
Yeah, for me, as I just said, personally, I have no issue with that because I do not practice it. I do not intend to make my daughter undergo through such. Okay, and also I definitely want to be in line with the laws that are already existing.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm just also arguing is that we just have to also
So where do you think governments come in now to say they prefer the law to remain? How do you see that?
Yes, because government also shouldn't want something and the contrary. Yes, so they want people to be law abiding.
But it took them too long to make their statement.
Yes, also it is normal also for them to maybe see the development, how things evolves around, but you could see that some of their mouthpieces, unofficial mouthpieces, already let the cat out of the bag
to make it known that the government intent is to stay, but they were kind of afraid of coming out to talk since the matter is sensitive.
Yes, well, anyway, I cannot speak for them, but what I just observe is that it's better late than never.
Okay.
It is better late than never.
Jawo, you have been consistently actually criticizing the people who want the law repealed and advancing very strong arguments. But we waited to see what will be the position of government for a long time, because many people have said, well, the government is shy of this because it's sensitive. The politicians don't want to stick their neck because they will clash with the religious leaders or people advocating for the culture to be maintained. You have always come out forthright to say that the practice is not good for the interests of the women folk. Now that the government is coming out, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's welcome, but definitely it's too late in the day for the government to come out. They should have done so much earlier, because this is a law they are defending. It's the duty of the government to defend the laws of the country, and the very fact that it has taken them this law to come out with this mild, release also. They should have even called the imams to order. People like Imam Fatih, for instance, going around inciting the people to disobey the law, even threatening that he would choose a place and then call people, whoever want to do their circumcision, let them go and do it. I think the government should definitely not be keeping quiet over this, because we've seen examples of when journalists or civil society activists speak, they round them up, detain them. What about this man who is going around inciting people? Why are they afraid of him? Because I know they are looking at the political repercussions of whatever they intend to do against Imam Fatih. Those are the things they are looking at. And when it comes to the name, whether it's FGM or FGC or whatever, I think those are just semantics. But what being done on our women and girls is definitely mutilation. Mutilating their bodies, whatever the case, whatever you call it, I think it's still mutilation, and it's unnecessary. I mean, we say God has created the person, and intact. I mean, what is the business of somebody going out to kind of alter that creation? I think it's honest. And the religious aspect, I think, also is another thing, because this is a cultural practice which predates religion. Definitely. And some people are practicing it. They are not even Muslims. Go to East Africa, certain tribes in Kenya, for instance, they are practicing FGM, and the government has banned it, but they are still, like what is happening in the Gambia, they are still doing
so the argument that,
and they have nothing to do with Islam.
So the argument that is Islam, you were saying, no, it's a culture.
Absolutely.
It's a culture.
The very fact that even the Prophet and all the big Sahabas never had their daughters.
And in Saudi Arabia, it is
Saudi Arabia,
illegal.
which is supposed to be the leader of the Islamic world, is not practicing it. They have banned it. Why should we insist here? Because we say we are Muslims, so we have to insist on doing this. I mean, it has been proven beyond all reasonable doubt that it's a harmful practice. I mean, to the women and to the health of the women. And we should definitely do away with it. The government should have taken a very strong position on this.
We have not had because what makes it complicated, that the supreme organ of Islam in the Gambia, the Supreme Islamic Council, have come out very much in favor of repealing the law up to until the point of releasing a fatwa.
Yeah, but I can assure you that
now that the government has spoken, how do you see them now?
No, I mean,
we haven't heard from them. Maybe they are guessing.
I can definitely assure you that a majority of the people in the Supreme Islamic Council are also not in favor of this. But because they are afraid, they have been browbeaten by the radical imams, clerics. That is why they have kind of, But some of them are not even. Culturally, they are not even inclined to FGM or something, like those who are Wolofs or whatever. They usually don't.
They don't do it.
They don't do it. But you see that some of them who are in the Supreme Islamic Council are kind of either they are afraid or they are shy to come out.
But you want to say that you have an impression that some of them individually they don't agree with it.
Absolutely no doubt that most of them in fact are not in agreement with, but they have been browbeaten by the radical clerics, and they are probably afraid to to kind of make their positions known. They are just kind of dilly-dallying over the issue. But that's the thing, it is unnecessary, and I think and the Gambia also has signed a lot of protocols and conventions as far as this issue is concerned, with a lot of international organizations. So going back definitely would not be good for the Gambia. And I think the government should realize that they should have done something about it and make their standpoint as clear as possible that FGM is not tolerable in this country. We cannot tolerate it. It's definitely, the ban should continue. I mean, the Gambia cannot afford to. In fact, if you listen to the international news agencies telling that, this is the first country in the world that has gone backwards, rather everybody is moving ahead.
We are on
CNN,
we are on BBC, we are on
Australia. We cannot afford to be going backwards. That's not good for the image of the Gambia. And I think the government should realize that and take their position very strongly, not just mild statements they are making. They have to come out, tell the radical imams that it's unacceptable. Yeah.
Yusuf Tailor from the Ghana, you found us on the first topic actually, that is the government coming out now for the first time. You must have seen the brief prepared by our mission in the United Nations, representing the views of the Minister for Gender and Women Affairs, Fatou Kinte, which basically is saying that government is actually for the retention of the anti-FGM law. We were discussing how does that play into the whole scenario when you have the Supreme Islamic Council and some prominent imams. We are yet to hear from them, their reaction to the government's position now. And we were discussing how it took government too long to take a position publicly. That is.
Yes, it's important that, first of all, just greetings to my co-panelists, and thank you. It's always a pleasure to invite me and be here with you to discuss about national issues.
Yes.
This is definitely an issue of radicalism that is coming up without a doubt, even because this is a law, but myself, I'm a Christian, and some people feel like I shouldn't even be.
But it's cultural as well. Jawo said we shouldn't worry about religion culturally.
Absolutely.
It's a culturally.
It's cultural because you have still some Christian,
doing it in certain parts of
that's what is interesting. Christians are doing it
too. So
it has nothing to do with Islam.
This is the argument. I think this is the main bone of contention, which Demba has dealt with and even some scholars from outside the Gambia have also contended that this is, you know, it even predates the religion. Islam. So it's a cultural practice, but I think we need to be careful, and as a country, the way we are moving, you know, or the direction in which we are heading. And I say that these are things which, if you remember, we had Dr. Zakir Naik come in here way back, and of course, you know, wherever he goes, he leaves.
Controversial
he does leave controversy behind him. And so ever since then, I believe the country, we've been moving towards that, you know, position. We were an Islamic state, according to former President Jamu at one point in time in our history. But nonetheless, this law is definitely a law which needs to stay. If looking at it from the human perspective, from the human rights perspective, and even what value does it add to culture as we are in this day and age. It might, some people could argue for all the sake they want, but the reality is that women themselves are telling us how this has a detrimental effect on them, you know. Of course, there are women who are supporting it as well, you know. So, but I think that there's too much to lose here. One Gambian child is too valuable to lose for us to be taking this risk of going backwards. The way that this thing is practiced, and I think this is, we have to come to reality. Because some people are trying to make some distinction between circumcision, mutilation. There is no other way of saying this. You take this young lady or young girl, she has no say many a times.
That is where the trouble is. Most of the time, the practice is done when the children are too young.
Exactly. They bring this young lady or this young girl there, and then
I'm always afraid of the explicit.
You know, you know, there's no anesthetic. The thing is done. There's so much pain, you know, and then the consequences are lifelong with childbirth. Yes, some people can have it, and depending on the severity in which it is done, you may not, you know, really see the impact, or it may not affect some women. Let's get that clear too. But there is a huge risk, and I think the pros for keeping the ban grossly outweigh the cons of maintaining it. We may appease some section of the population who feel like they're right, etc., etc., but at very severe damage.
I remember there was a lot of reputational damage during the course of that parliamentary procedure. Everywhere in the world, people were saying, Gambia want to repeal the law.
I traveled to, actually, the second reading, I was out of town. I was in Ivory Coast, and it wasn't. People raise it up to me. It wasn't in the news, but per se, but it was in their news. They could find it. It was in their cycle, and some people asked me about it. You know, some people talked to me about it. Of course, it was a little bit. You know, you want your country to be in the news for all the right reasons.
So, what does it tell us also about the private member who sponsored this one? The Almami, this private member bill, Almami Jiba, from Councillor. He's been seen to be very vocal, controversial sometimes.
He has ever since.
What does it tell you about his character in supporting this bill?
He has ever since been.
He defended it so vehemently, even in international media.
He has ever since.
And interestingly, the person whom he so loyally followed,
this is where
Jamu, is the one who brought the law.
Absolutely.
I think you raise a very important issue. He comes from the No to Alliance movement.
Yes.
They were a protest vote pretty much against the APRC, or the recognized APRC,
the mainstream,
if you can put it that way.
When they call them defectors, I don't know who defected from who.
And ever since he's been in parliament, he is a fiery character.
He's very controversial and effective in so many ways, but but he's never shy of controversy.
He's not shy of it, and he speaks up for himself, and you will hear him asking all the time about the properties of Yaya Jammeh in the parliament.
Coming to that.
You know, which is also one of our topics. Is of course been put in the Ministry of Justice.
Yeah, we're coming to coming to that, yes.
Many of them. So he has been doing that role, and to be frank, he has been actually doing a very good role, fighting for the people of Foni.
He's been a very effective MP.
Yes, but on this bill, I can tell you that out of all the members, I would have, if you asked me which member would bring it, I would say it's him. He plays almost the role of an imam in the.
So you are not surprised that?
I am not surprised at all. If there was any member who is supposed to lead the prayers, for example, it would be Al-Mami.
So on this particular topic, he disagreed very well from his godfather.
Which is very surprising. I'm surprised that he's actually repealing their undoing the work of his undoing the work of his.
Didn't they say Jamu was misled by activists such as Jahir Dukure, etc.? Allegedly, that's what they said.
Oh my God!
They said Jamu was misled.
Professor, yes, I think also this is also a side effect of the first prosecution that was done against.
You mean the prosecution? Yes.
Against the FGM.
Yes.
So this thing came after that. So we have to also be mindful.
But if you have a law, you have to have the law.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This has never come up, but it was until
the prosecution of
of the first ever people. Yes, of the first ever.
The prosecution should have been done much earlier, because the practice has been going on and on, and the government is just aware of, and they have been.
So you mean the government had not been prosecuting anybody until when
they knew the people who were doing it.
Officially, it was in.
The government was happy having the law in place, but not enforcing it.
Yes, exactly.
So when it was
because they knew enforcement will bring direct.
So when it was enforced at the latter part of 2023, this is what brought actually the issue in hand
forward.
So but also I just don't want us to place the issue concerning denying the fact that it is not religious. Okay, my position is clear. My position, I'm not for the repeal.
I
want the law to be
but you don't think that it is entirely true that it's not religious?
Yes, like religion, like it is, there is no reference. There is no reference of it in the Quran.
But
let me just explain. Yes, but
three. You said three.
Three. Okay, but most Islamic scholars, or many Islamic scholars who are in for this female circumcision, are basing their arguments on the Sunnah part, that is on the teachings of the Prophet. Even though the Prophet did not practice it, but under his during his time, there were people.
It was practiced.
It was
and
practiced.
He did not specifically say no.
Yes. So if
that's why the argument
if the issue is there already, you cannot say that it is unreligious. Okay. You cannot say that it is not part of a religion. Okay. So now
predates religion.
Yes.
Well, the argument of the Imam is that whatever is wrong, the Prophet come categorically and said this is wrong.
Yes, but so sometimes
since he did not say that, then it's accepted.
Yes,
I disagree with that logic very much so, because if you listen to apparently to that hadith, the Prophet did say to reduce the cutting, don't cut too deep.
But he never said
that
don't
in itself. That in itself is an indication that he recognizes that this is causing harm, and that he is asking them, whoever is practicing this, limit the harm. In fact,
but that's different from that's different from saying don't do it.
Because it could, for me, the Prophet may not say don't do it because out of respect for the practice of these people, their culture. So he does not want their culture. This is government.
The president is no different from the Prophet. Who actually is afraid of saying, please stop this.
Yes,
but don't do it more.
No, please.
More.
When the sunnah is what people do in front of the Prophet, and he blessed it. I say. What people consider as sunnah is that, like, when you do something in front of the Prophet.
Whether it's optional.
No. Like when you do something
in front of him, he condemned it.
If he condemns it,
yeah,
that's also sunnah. If he doesn't condemn it, also, if he allows you to do it without saying anything, that is also part of the sunnah, because of if it is something that is wrong, he would definitely address that issue. So that is the explanatory part.
What was the second argument
of the
this is my issue. He gave some categories, but my issue is, what about the Prophet recognizing something and asking to reduce the harm of doing that?
Okay.
The fact that the Prophet is saying reduce the harm or limit the cutting indicates that he recognizes that is harmful practice, and that is a practice that you must limit.
Yes, my argument.
Stop it at all?
Yeah, my argument is that is not my point. My point is that when the Prophet is saying that okay, reduce the cutting or something like that, that means that then it is religion. It is something that has to do with religion. This is what I'm just trying to put across. But that's not the reason why I brought it. The reason why I brought it is that sometimes there could be practices in Islam that when it gets to the extent at which it is harmful, it becomes harmful, then you have to stop it. Okay, for example, abortion. Both Islam and Christianity don't accept abortion.
Yeah.
Okay, but when it reaches at a situation whereby the woman
life is in danger,
the woman's life is in danger, then
nobody says it shouldn't be done.
Yes, then you can use it. You can use abortion. You can do abortion.
Yeah, I think.
So this is what
analogy here between FGM. I mean, with FGM is slavery, for instance. Slavery was accepted during the time of the Prophet. People were having slaves, and he was not condemning it. But the thing is, I mean, it has been outlawed, and everybody agreed that slavery is bad. It has been outlawed completely. Why can't we outlaw this one? It's because it's bad as well. And the very fact that the Islamic nations like Saudi Arabia, which is supposed to be the cradle of Islam, has banned it. Who are we here, small Gambia, to be insisting that it is Islamic and we should...
Yes, we still need to discuss it. We still need to...
All right, let's go back to Parliament. Well, the whole issue is that because the government has spoken out for the first time,
thank you,
defending the law, that is why we brought back the conversation.
Yes.
Because that has taken the conversation to another step now. We are now waiting to hear from the FGM group to say what their argument is and what they're going to do. But for the first time, government has spoken out through a brief prepared by our mission at the UN on behalf of the Minister of Gender and Women Affairs, telling the United Nations about the government's intention, among other things, which is, of course, to maintain the law. We move on. In Parliament, again, the same MP, Almame Jiba of Fonyi Councillor, now said he's going to seek a power of attorney from former President Jamu to sue the government over the sale of his assets. I mean, we all know that President Jamu himself has been accused of siphoning more than $4 billion or more plus. And the government, through a commission of inquiry, established that he should forfeit, all his property should be forfeited to the state. I think even after that, they still after him for more money. His compound in the United States have also been forfeited by the U.S. government, and they are saying that they will get the money to the Gambia for victims. Compensation. They said that. So it's $3 million US. I don't know how they will sell it, how much they will sell it. But Almame in the assembly last time, the Minister for Justice, Mr. Jallow was asked, and he presented a list of the properties that were shelled. But Almame Giba rejected that, especially when they said no gold were found among Jammeh's properties. Almame said that's a lie. I think independent journalist, Republican, did a fact check and established that what the minister said was wrong. Gold indeed was found among his properties. So what do you make of that, sir? Let's start with Flex, who followed Parliament religiously. How was the atmosphere there?
Yes, this is the usual question which you expect from Almami. Every single parliamentary question is on Wednesdays. Parliament would summon ministers, they
Yes.
would come and
And
they
they've
would
been doing
respond.
a very good job. It's from those questions that we had the finance minister on the jar oil,
Yes.
$50 million.
Indeed.
And it's an interesting, really interesting section.
Indeed.
Question and answer.
So as usual, the usual question again comes for the Minister of Justice, and I wouldn't be surprised if he acts on his how could I say declaration or threat. I didn't want to call it a threat, but it seemed like I have a strong feeling that he would act on it, and that perhaps
What threat? You mean Al-Mami?
Al-Mami to use power of attorney.
He's so passionate about this.
Yes, I would not be surprised because he has gathered a lot of evidences through his questions and the responses that he has been getting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he will probably be seeking legal counsel on these issues and trying to pick out inconsistencies between the responses that have been put out. And also, obviously, the fact check now helps him to say that obviously there was a fact check that was written. If you go to Gambia, factcheckgambia.org, you will see.
They said the
this
ministers
fact check
claimed
about
that no
the
goal was in Republic. I read it in the Republic. They
Yes,
said.
so this is also something that has come up, and obviously, if you go back at the TRRC records, it's highlighting something different. That there was
Goal indeed was found.
and some evidence was actually submitted to the commission.
So if the commission said gold was indeed.
So it's not the commission that is saying gold was indeed some evidence that allegedly, like for example, inventory about
an inventory was made.
Yes.
And gold
So,
was
but an inventory is different from the actual item. So, but obviously, for now, there seems to be evidence proving that there was gold retrieved, but that is something which also needs to be, because of what you have is AMRC, Asset Management Recovery, would have been recovering these assets and creating their own inventory. So now there is no improbability that in between
gold can disappear.
Things will disappear.
The Minister of Justice need to come and explain. Now that there is now contrary arguments against what he said.
Yes.
So it's now for him to come and clarify.
Indeed, definitely. I think there needs to be some further clarification, or you might see Mr.
And I think
going to court.
Another minister was saying that he said he never bought any cattle or something from Jamu. So we still have to know who bought the cattle.
Who bought the cows?
Because they said the cattle were undervalued for $2.5 million.
Yes, well, the former minister of tourism and now minister of lands.
One minister came out and said he never bought any cow.
Yes, I think the name is not a secret. Ahmad Bah.
Yeah, he said he never bought any cattle.
He's come out to say that he's not bought any cattle or any of Jamu's items. He said, yes, he said that he's stood clear of them.
He never bought any.
He never bought them. So I think this is why the questions that the parliamentary
question and answer
the questions they ask is important, and this has been one of the bone of contention.
Yeah.
What items have been sold and who have they been sold to?
And at what value?
Yes. Yeah. So this information, if it had been made clear from Parliament, so the minister usually goes short to say they will not reveal.
They will not reveal because the buyers have an interest for secrecy and stuff like that.
And all of that personal, all that. So,
but at least he has come out now. He didn't even say who bought what, but he said what has been purchased and how much has been realized.
I think the government had not been quite transparent as far as the Jamu assets are concerned. Definitely, they have not been. Because they should have been updating the people. This is public property. Whatever is seized from Yaya Jammeh belongs to the state, to the Gambian people, and they should, at every stage, at every step of the way, they should be telling the people how much has been sold, what it is had been used for, and whatever. In fact, I understand the Americans have insisted that the government must give them the undertaking that the amount of money they have realized from the Jammeh estate in the US would go towards the reparations for the victims.
And they haven't done it.
Yeah,
you are the chairman of the victims. You should know now.
I don't know as yet what undertaking they've given to the Americans, but I understand the Americans have insisted that before they would
release the funds
to the Gambia government, they must be assured
that is going to the
because,
victims.
These are damaged victims, and whatever is realized from his assets must go to compensate those victims.
As the government said, they were putting together a bill that got passed.
Yeah, of course. The victims reparations bill. Victims reparations bill has been passed already, and I understand it has been assented to. So it is a commission which is supposed to be set up, which would handle.
Up to now, April, that's what it has been.
Well, that's the unfortunate situation.
You have to take that up as chairman of the.
Almost 3 years now since the TRRC submitted its report, and up to now,
reparations is still in limbo.
The victims are still waiting for reparations. Some of the victims are suffering from medical complications, and they need the money to go and to.
Well, the government said they had taken a process. Let's hope that now that the bill is assented to,
the process
commission should be set up immediately.
Absolutely, that's what we are expecting. But but the government needs to definitely come out quite clear on these Jammeh assets, because right now there is absolutely no.
And didn't they even say that some of Jammeh's proceeds from Jammeh's assets, even locally, would be going to the victim compensation?
That's what they said. Wherever it goes, they should come out clean and tell us what has been, how much Jammeh's assets have been worth, and how they were disposed of and other things, honestly.
And then there's another aspect besides clarifying the monies, who it's been sold, how much, what the property is, what has happened to those monies.
Yes,
like,
the monies.
How are they spending those monies?
The money,
because there are millions of dollars.
The government said 300 million was realized.
And it was
at the central bank.
And that money
was what was said at the time.
It's at the central bank. What about the victims? So the money is there sitting.
Exactly.
The
government was on record to say that money, 300 million, have been realized, and it is kept.
The issue is that I think the government has been showing lack of transparency in as far as this issue is concerned.
Seriousness with the victims.
And I'm flabbergasted.
Lack of seriousness in the victim reparations.
I'm really
that is the issue.
I'm really flabbergasted by the fact that they are not making things clear, and then it's just like they are creating another commission of inquiry for themselves, after their after their governance, because all these things needs to be clear. You cannot just collect these resources from Jammeh and then you use it another way that people where you cannot even explain the reason why you use this money. I think there is a lot of inconsistency in terms of the processes. The process is very, very
exactly, and especially seriousness with the reparation issue is not.
And also another thing is that, like, that these were Jammeh's articles, and then you decide to go and buy them. So you shouldn't be shy away of for people to reveal. For people to see the controversy that is in it. You want to go and buy the vehicles, you want to buy the land, and you want to buy the gold or whatever. You should also take the risk. You should also take the risk for your identity. For your identity
actually, you don't blame the buyers
to be revealed.
You don't blame.
I think that is not fair. Also,
you don't blame
because
the buyers.
It is a risk.
The buyers will have no obligation to come out and say, I bought this from now. But the government, the authorities who need to explain to the people are the ones sealing the buyers from
Well, let's also hope that Al-Mahme succeeds in getting the power of attorney from Yaya Jammeh. Probably that will also help us to know exactly what items are. People are saying that there was no gold. The government is insistent. But if Jammeh comes up with evidence that he had gold, probably this is an opportunity. If Al-Mahme gets the power of attorney and he goes to court,
so obviously, what you will expect from Jammeh also is yes, I have gold.
But he has to produce evidence.
But what entitlement does Jammeh to have in the first place? Who allegedly stole our billion?
So this is the issue.
What entitlement does he have too?
For me, I think it's the purpose of the only thing is transparency that he can ask for. But clearly, the benefits that he has had from the Gambia, that he has pillaged from the Gambia, I don't think he can pay it all back. He clearly cannot pay it all back.
No matter what was taken from his assets, he may not be able to.
No one.
But it's important that transparent we know how.
Thank you. And I feel that his rights should be he's as a citizen,
Yeah.
he should be afforded all the rights
Absolutely.
of every citizen as well. You know?
Just to support what you're saying, no one can pay your mother's milk.
Thank you. Exactly. It's your entitlement.
No matter how much you do.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Senegal now. The elections have been held. President Macky Sall's candidates, Amadou Bah, failed flatly. Amadou Bah.
Yes.
What is Amadou?
Yeah,
Amadou Bah.
Yes,
I say Amadou Bah, yes. Failed flatly to continue with Macky's system. Jomai Faye, who was put up by Pastef as a second plan, won a landslide, that is 54 point something percent of the votes, making a second round avoidable this time around. They said this is probably the first time the opposition come with such a huge landslide, avoiding the second round. That's historic. Now, let's just look at it. If you look at the concept of Pastef, and now they come into power in the next couple of days, what are the implications for Senegal, for Africa, and particularly for the Gambia, having a new man in Dakar now? Here is a country that is very much close to Senegal, which has shared almost everything with Senegal. If there's a new government with a different style, how apprehensive or concerned should we be as Gambians? Demba Jawo.
Yeah, actually what has happened in Senegal, I call it a political tsunami. You know, this is definitely, everybody expected Pastef, or is it the ex-Pastef?
No, it's now Pastef. They've been giving back
bring it back, you know.
Whatever the case, you know, everybody expected them to do quite well in the elections. But personally, I never thought they would just go this far and even prevent a second round. For me, I expected in the first round there would be no clear winner. That's what my analysis. I thought there would be no clear winner. In fact, I even thought that Amadou Bah was going to lead in the polls. Yeah. Although I was convinced again, if Pastef were to force him to a second round, they'll beat him in the second round. I knew. That was my analysis. Yeah. But the very fact that they came out, they victorious in the first round. Honestly, it came as a completely unexpected for people like me, analysts like me, because I was analyzing the situation. But whatever the case, I think it's a very interesting situation in Senegal here. Well, it's historic in the fact that this is the first time an incumbent president is not, contesting the election. That is significant. That's significant. And also, I equalize the Pastef situation to what has been happening in the sub-region. That is the anti-French sentiments, because I can see it in them. Definitely it's there. For me, I think it's the civilian version of what has happened in Niger, in Mali, and Burkina Faso. Yeah. You've seen the anti-French sentiments in those places. And, Pastef also seems to have certain similar sentiments, because they've been talking about withdrawing from the CFA.
In fact, central to their argument.
They have been talking about withdrawing from the CFA franc and, kind of taking a more independent stand right now, because we know that Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire are the biggest Francophile nations in the sub-region today. And if we can get Pastef to, talking about withdrawing from some of those French interests and renegotiating some of the contracts that the Macky government has signed, like the petrol and gas and other contracts that they have signed with mostly French companies. So it definitely tells a lot. So it's an interesting situation, and definitely Senegal is in for a big changes. But I also was happy that in Senegal at least their institutions are working. Yes. It is very, very evident, because if let's assume that in the Gambia the president chooses a date for the election, there is nobody
will challenge
that. Nobody. But here we've seen Macky not only choosing the date, but even going and postponing the elections and other things, and the Constitutional Council countering him. It shows that the Senegal
even candidates, he wouldn't have love. Exactly. He wouldn't have love Jomai or anybody has
he
Sonko
even wanted
or in
people
prison
that,
to be in development.
Karim Wade to be on the list.
He wanted Karim Wade at all costs.
But the Constitutional Council, stood their ground.
Yeah.
So this shows that, these Senegal institutions are definitely working.
Strong, yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation in the Gambia. You can imagine what would have happened if the president wanted this. There is nobody who was going to stop them from
even
having their way.
independently designed institutions that are empowered to act independently under the constitution.
Honestly,
will
Senegal democracy
will
is
still
very
go for the
mature.
president.
It's quite mature, and I only hope and pray that these people will come. Although people are saying that they have not got the experience, but I think they can. There are people with a lot of experience in Senegal, and they can utilize them to do that. But let's only hope that they will consolidate the democracy that they found in Senegal. It's a very encouraging situation, definitely.
Professor, Jawo has touched on some of the ideologies, the ideology of this pastor. You have studied them a lot. People were apprehensive that they wanted radical changes that will alienate Senegal, from the Western countries, colonial power, France. People are feared that some of these, they put a lot of emphasis on transparency and fighting corruption, that this is going to lead to retribution and vindictiveness because they suffered a lot. People are afraid that they may go to avenge some of these things, to hunt or persecute members of the former regime on one charge or the other. They seem so far to be very quiet, modest in the run-up to their inauguration. Do you see these people actually implementing to the latter all these radical pronouncements they've been making?
Okay, first of all, I would like to say RIP to the system.
To the system in Senegal.
1960 to 2024.
But one can argue that system was different.
Yeah,
but the socialists were different from Wade and I don't know, Maki. What was system?
The third alternative.
The third alternative. We call it the third alternative.
Yes, but
all of them are dead now.
The system has been survived by different sons. Okay, some good, some bad. Okay, like the good ones are that Senegal is expecting to commercialize its first oil between May and June.
So that's an important debate. So Senegal is now going to have will be producing oil now.
Yes. They will start the commercialization process between May and June. So that is a good sign that the system has left behind. But the one of the bad things, I can also name other good things, is that they have a very determined and aware citizenry as we speak.
So no matter how the system was bad, they have at least allowed people's liberties, people to be aware of their liberties, actually express them.
But that's also thanks to the pastor added to this. Yes. Okay. So they've been survivor of that. Right now they have a very conscious citizenry who are ready to support this Sonko Jomai administration. Proof to that is they want to organize a cleansing exercise, national cleansing day exercise, like settle on the first, and
of April.
Yes, on the 1st of April, preparing the swearing ceremony of
Jomai.
Of Jomai the following day. Okay, you see, that is a very positive aspect from the Senegalese people, that they are ready to clean.
What is
yes, with
a symbolic gesture.
Yes, with the broom.
But there is more to that. It's not just a physical cleaning of the street.
Yes. So they are ready to not only to clean the country, to be proper, but also to clean the system, so that they could face with so many difficulties. And the bad things that the system has left also is the Senegal is deeply polarized right now. Senegal is deeply divided. Say anything to Macky, but he still has a huge following. He still has people who loves him because of what he has done for them. And some of those realizations are like infrastructure,
Yeah.
You know, civil servants are well paid in Senegal. These are some of the positive things that the Pastef administration or the Sonko Jomai administration will have to rationalize.
Yeah, they will have to. That one they have to keep.
Yes,
appreciate and keep that.
Yes, because state is a continuity. Okay, so talking about the challenges also that they are going to face is that with an aware citizenry like this, with a conscious
and sophisticated,
you cannot do. You cannot do. You really cannot do the contrary of what you have promised them. You cannot do the contrary of what you have advocated. They will stand upright. They will stand upright against them the next minute. For example, like his first declaration when he called for the declaration that he did, you know, his first speech, you know, I saw from the social media, Mr. President, you are late. We don't want this. You know, like that. He convened the journalists around 9.
Oh, and he
but
came late.
the event started lately. Yeah, Jomai. Yeah. So his supporters said, "Okay, Mr. President, we don't want this. We want you to be punctual. Yes, we want you to be punctual." So they are sending a signal. You know,
his honeymoon. His honeymoon may not be long.
No, yes. So that's it. So now the issues that are at hand is what they have promised, whether they could realize it. I think that is the question. They stand at a better chance because they have strong institutions. I think we have said it here. But these institutions also, they need to be reformed. And that is one of their fundamental aspects in their program. In their program, they talk about sovereignty. You know, they talk about, like in sovereignty, that is the creation of money, the creation of job, and to make sure that the economy is indigenous. Yeah, an indigenous economy. This is what they are proposing. An indigenous economy that is based on agriculture, that will have agriculture as the base, industrialization as a go-between, and then finance to the service of the people, like redistributing the wealth that they have, that they will collect from the people. Imagine Senegal being commercializing oil, being an oil state, you know,
oil producing state.
It is projected that they will have 7.5 billion CFA, 7.5 billion CFA from those oil revenue. Okay, so that is more than their actual budget. The Senegal's actual budget stands at 7 billion CFA. So which means the what they have expecting to have from
alone annual.
Yeah, that can.
So whatever is being collected nowadays can be money they can use for it.
Exactly. So you could see the road is well prepared and paved for this Sonko and Jomai administration to.
And they seem to be prudent when it comes to handling resources. Their policies seem to be very much handling resources.
No, I think there was an issue with that. This is what Sonko and Jomai, you know, proposed to the people, that these people, they are not transparent in what they are doing, just like what's happening here. You cannot even understand how they are handling these Jamu's assets and other stuff. So Sonko and Jomai, you know, told the Senegalese people, particularly young people, your resources, they are not well taken care of. There's no transparency, too much of corruption. You know, they have control bodies, they have institutions, I told you. They have very strong institutions like OFNAC, you know, it is anti-corruption.
Since you know, before we move to, since you know, you are familiar with some of the personalities, how do you think, what sort of government would they form? Are you in any position to know who might be who might be what, since you know the personalities in the coalition? The Jomai president coalition, like for example, you expect Sonko to be prime minister or advisor, or what do you think? What do you expect Sonko?
Yeah, this Sonko Jomai administration or this Sonko Jomai team or Pastef team, they are a very complicated team to be predicted. Oh, you know, sometimes you expect them here, and then you see them the other way.
They are kind of similarity with Doi.
Yeah, this is how
Doi of Gambia.
Yeah,
they are not out for positions or for. It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, this is why
each one to a role and that's it.
Yeah, this is why
whoever can do well in a role there.
This is why the
but their composition is going to be intriguing.
Exactly. So this is why the project was able to be successful. You know, instead of Maki was expecting that Sonko will be the candidate, and then
selfish.
Yes, will be selfish.
He doesn't get.
Yeah, he will be seeing himself alone, while he was able to bring him the Joma to succeed him. So because it is a project. So this also Sonko, during the campaign, has clearly stated that this is not something that we are going to share. Our country is not something to be shared.
It's not a cake that we share.
It's not a cake that we are going to share.
Like the coalition did here.
Yes, you supported this, you supported us. You were in prison, you were this, you were that, and then they are going to Delo in Jukal. No, it's not going to function like that.
Delo in Jukal.
We have very competent people at home and in the diaspora, who are capable. So, like, if you are part of us and your hand is clean, and also, you are competent, then of course, you will be the priority. You will be given the priority. But if at all, also you are with us and
your hands are dirty.
Your hands are dirty.
You will still not.
And you are not competent. You cannot be given this despite supporting us. So now, what is expected there is that, for me personally, I don't expect Sonko to take a position. For the fact that it could be very detrimental for him pushing forward. Because, for example, if he is chosen as the prime minister, the prime minister is the second most powerful in the government. Okay, in fact, he's the head of the government.
He's the director.
He's the head of the government. The president just stands aside. So it is the prime minister who walks straight forward with the ministers and with every development aspect in the country. So now, if there are obstacles that are put between Sonko and their project, and there must be sabotage, some type of sabotage, along the road. If I don't pray I don't pray for that. If he fails, it means that the system, the anti-system will...
His credibility will be blemished.
Yes.
For any future ambition.
For any...
So in order to avoid that, he may probably be in the background.
Be a special advisor to the president.
One thing they promised and that they have already started implementing is the fact that they don't want the president, the head of state, to also be a leader of a party. Joma has already resigned.
Yes.
He has resigned. He was the Secretary General of PASTEC. He has resigned from the party. All his position is the party because they agreed that the president, it is incompatible with the president also being a leader of a party.
So that's a complete game changer.
Yes, that's what they've advocated for before, and now Joma is no longer. He is of course a member of the party, but
he has resigned from.
Similar to the instruments of agreement that the coalition. Gambia coalition had here. They had Adama Barrow,
but everything went.
They want him to be separated from any political leader so that he will be able to serve everybody's interests. That's what the coalition did here, but it didn't happen, unfortunately.
As I was listening to Mr. Bah explain, it kind of reminded me of Halifa not taking up a position in the government. If I could equate some similarities.
No, I told you they
have
similarity in their concept.
I disagree. That is what will happen.
You think Sonko will take prime?
I think yes. I think he will take prime minister. If you look, I think he will take a position in the government.
Why do you think he will take that?
I think he's already started playing an instrumental role when they went to go and meet the president.
But he has to go. I mean,
so that's one.
Sonko is
Joma's protege.
Exactly. So remember. So was it 10 days ago that before the election, they were together in the prison cells?
Yes.
Both of these gentlemen have just been released from prison. Only 10 days, and it was the birthday of Jomai on the day which he won. So happy birthday to him.
He could never have got a birthday present.
So I think they will revolutionize the government. They will change. It will be almost like a revolution, if you could say. Some of the things which they said that they want to do is to reduce the powers of the president, reintroduce the position of the vice president,
Yes.
Reform the country's currency, which Mr. Bah has talked about here, which will be, I think, one of the most difficult things.
Yeah.
Because this will bring them direct in
confrontation
with France.
Yeah.
Now, how far will they be able to achieve this sovereignty project? If you could package it in that manner, I think it will be the bone of contention here.
Okay.
So, of course, I think, first of all, there's some things that I really wanted to highlight, which is the maturity of the Senegalese institutions.
Yeah.
And even, for example, the Constitutional Court. It took back and forth, but the court did not relent. But what happened is, it took MPs to go to court.
Yes.
So they actually sued the political class also. Did not sit down waiting around.
Yes.
They sued Macky Sall at the Constitutional Council, and that is what triggered this series of events that curtailed Macky Sall, that you must run an election before your term expires. So, and I think I will also draw some. I think Gambia, we are moving a little bit. If you remember, in our presidential election, there were lawsuits against you, the one that you were trying to contest. There were lawsuits. CA and many other parties did sue the government, and I know they had a point.
They sued the IEC.
Yes, because of the way that our country is.
My party and Dr. Cesar.
And actually, they did come out with some wins there.
Yes.
Had they decided to proceed,
there would have been a constitutional crisis.
That would have been a constitutional crisis in the Gambia. And our elections, God knows what the court would have ruled on saying, whether they would push it another month for them to make sure that they are counted in. And actually, from what I understood is some of these parties decided that, it was better of the
well, because they were interested in joining the, Mr. Bah and the others joining.
I wouldn't.
If they had gone to court and court said these people should be.
I'll take that point.
So then
the election would have been delayed.
So I am trying to draw some parallels here to highlight that Gambian politics has moved forward, but you can see it takes back and forth. It takes commitment, dedication.
Because unfortunately, some of the people who were spearheading
they were in jail.
Joined the bandwagon now.
Yes, you see.
I mean, that's where the problem is.
So and you can draw a lot of parallels to what is happening in Gambia. Some of our people were put in jail. Senou Dabo and the whole UDP executive were put in jail. And he had the foresight to make sure that they had another layer of UDP, whilst the full top layer was gone. And God knows what would have happened to UDP. If that hadn't happened, God knows if they would have still been able to have a party. But a thriving, kicking party right now. I always give it to the opposition that I sometimes wonder whether we have opposition in this country.
Yes, of course.
The opposition politician, nobody knows whether. Now, what does it means? Because people brand this new leadership in Dakar as a youth hope for Africa. What does it say about the youth Africa assuming political power now?
Yes.
That's what they said, that this might be one lesson or one aspect that will spread all over the continent.
I think one thing it highlights is that Senegal's civic education is coming to maturity, is coming to fruition. That people will buy an agenda, that you sell, and not necessarily rise. The government of the day always has the resources to be able to buy any elections. This is why the victory is a shock. But looking at the example which they have set, asset declarations for DMI5 has already been released. And we are seeing it. Yes, I have it on my mobile phone. The vehicles he has
less than 200,000 in his
account.
Yes,
all of those.
Let's say by 2029, how much
that will be?
200 million.
4 million CFA, which is less than.
He has 1 million CFA.
4 million CFA.
He has 4 million.
Yeah, in his account.
That's about 200,000.
Yeah, that's about 200,000.
So these are.
Does he own farms?
Yes, he owns farms.
Yeah, I saw his
and
earlier picture on a farm.
And houses as well, but
In Dhaka or
he's heavily
in
on the
Chess?
loan. He's heavily on the loan. So these
paying
are
loan?
not. Yes, he's still paying.
I don't know who dare ask him to pay that loan.
So you see, I think if he
But
leads by
institutions-
this example that he has set, and that is the way to fight corruption. It does not start with the policemen outside there.
No.
It starts with the man at the top.
Absolutely.
Leading by example. If you are as the president, asset declaration, you can demand that all your ministers now must do likewise. You want to work for my government?
Remember, I mean, it's also a law in this country that before you contest as
But they don't make it, you know, it's a law.
I mean,
But it's only with the ombudsman.
Yes, even in Senegal, it's already a
But
law.
there's no monitoring. You
but
can
it is
declare
not-
anything you want.
Yeah, it is not compulsory to publish it.
He once declared goods. Jamu who owns everything.
Cattle and
Jamu declared
You can
goods.
declare anything you want, and then nobody is there to monitor.
So to conclude, I think certainly if the start is what he is going to continue with, this might be a reason for soul searching for Gambian politicians,
Absolutely.
African politicians. That yes, there is possible, but it's not an easy one. It takes dedication, commitment, sacrifice. It takes these things, which is very. But I think most importantly, is
and be
civic education.
ready to take anything that comes your way.
And
Imprisonment, torture,
which is
all
it's
kinds.
unfortunate for me. I find it's not fair to ask politicians to go through that, but you can see African politics. This is what it demands. But I think most importantly is the civic education aspect of Senegal is what has come to maturity. Decades and decades of civic education. These people will not relent. They will protest.
Absolutely.
20 people plus died. Fighting, sacrificing.
60 in total since the
for their
crisis started.
country.
60.
And they refuse to let it
since
go to waste.
2021.
Yes,
more than
since
60.
the started crisis, over 60.
Over 60.
But this is very important. They held Macky Sall accountable. They said that you must not serve more than the time. Here, and even on the first day that he is giving his declaration, they are saying you are coming late. But what happened in Gambia when we said occupy Westfield, and some people said not in my name? You see, not in my name. The government must be giving time. Allow the government time to do their work. No, you have to hold the government to account from the get-go.
From the very get-go.
From
Otherwise,
the beginning.
they will morph into monsters that you cannot control.
And this, I can tell you, will be the reason why Jomai will have no choice.
He will have to consolidate the democracy. He will have to practice everything he preached. Otherwise, he will be in trouble.
Yes, just to remember the words of J.J. Rollins, who once said, we are going to make sure that we will have a system, even if you put there a gene, that he will do, and he will live to the aspiration of the people. So this is what's going to happen. And the accession of Jomai to the presidency in Senegal is a new beginning. It is the beginning of...
Specifically, what do we know about their foreign policy towards ECOWAS? Well, they said that was a slip of the tongue. Didn't he talk about possibly withdrawing Senegal from ECOWAS?
No, I've heard
That
during the
was an
campaign.
allegation,
Yes, during the campaign. Yeah, during the campaign.
He never said.
Yeah, it is just the pastor followers who are just angry about the ECOWAS situation, that behavior. But I've heard Joma himself during the campaign said
he said he's going to bring
he's going to reconcile the breakaway.
He's going to bring those who left.
The breakaway
Mali and other
countries. He's going to do that. Yeah, he's going to do that, and that's what he said. But what I'm just trying to say is that the Joma's coming into power, it is a symbol of the beginning of juvenocracy in Africa, meaning the government by young people. I can quote, I can use and say the beginning of Jomai-cracy in Africa.
You are a devoted disciple of Pastor. That's what APRC Mustafa Gay said last week. I told him, this is a professor in Senegal. He said, you don't know this Pastor.
So you see, I firmly believe that young people should lead. But I also believe that it is not every young people who can lead. Yes, so just to support what my brother says, civic awareness is very important. It is important also for us to have projects. Young people, we shouldn't be afraid for them to lead, because we've seen Justin Trudeau, Canada. We've seen we've seen Obama.
When you make of this, Jawo, people have said that he's talking about his topic, that the youths. People have said the brilliant and promising, aspiring politicians here have missed the opportunity by abandoning their positions and joining the bandwagon.
Well, probably
exactly
Mr. Bah will comment on that one.
Yes, I definitely have that too.
He's a young aspiring politician.
In politics there must be alliances.
They were promising once
in politics
at the dawn of the change, in 2016.
Well,
very young, promising people.
They have gone out looking for jobs now, so they have abandoned
they've abandoned.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah. I think so, because of there are examples across Africa. Some you will always criticize them. Yeah. For example, if you look at Uganda, you have Bobby Wine there.
Yeah, Bobby Wine is still consistent.
But he stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he is closer and much closer to the presidency than he was years back.
Yeah.
And that could have been the same situation in the Gambia.
Sometimes there are challenges. You see, I can give you example
there will always be challenges.
In Chad also, there's this guy called Success Master. Okay, Success Master also is one of the, just like Bobby Wine.
It's different from the one that's just been killed.
No.
Dilo.
That's Dilo. That is Yaya Dilo. Yaya Dilo was killed. But for Success Master, he was the almost leading political figure, in the country. But later he was called by the junta to be the prime minister. As we speak, he's the current prime minister.
Yes,
he has received criticisms in that, but maybe also that is a strategy for him to understand.
Maybe they don't want him to stain his character.
Yes, to understand the realities, of the system. Because in order for you to understand the realities of the system, at some point you need to infiltrate. You need to infiltrate, not actually join it, but you need to infiltrate. You need to infiltrate the system so that you can know. Today, I'm sitting here with lot of information that I know thanks to my collaboration with President Barrow. Thanks to endorsing President Barrow. I know the inside, a lot of stuff's going on at State House that I can use.
You are a spy in that part.
Yes, I can say definitely I was. Yes,
he wants to be an apprentice.
Yes, now they've had you now.
Yes, definitely. I know a lot of information. That could be very, very useful.
I forgot when they say young people who have come at the turn of the change and were very promising. But then they jump the one. But they talk about people like you.
Me. I have a job and I'm still working. Honestly, and it is not because of that job that's why I joined President Barrow. That has to be clear. I joined him because I wanted to help him to change our country. So now,
but has he done that?
Yes, no, he didn't do it. He didn't do it.
He didn't listen to you.
This is why we've moved out. We've moved out not because that our chance was not going to come, but we've moved out because of we see that
probably if you had stayed, you would have been Delon Jukal as well.
Not actually Delon Jukal, but for me, my ambition is to help my country.
I see.
I wrote 2 books. I have policies, for this country, and I really wanted to help him to advance the development of our country. But unfortunately,
but according to you, unfortunately, he didn't take any of your ideas.
Yeah, I cannot say he didn't take any one of my ideas because I endorsed him with 12 points. Among those 12 points, number 1 was to organize a national
just to make it fast.
A national dialogue. For example,
how many of the 12 have just to make it fast?
Yes.
How many of the 12 he fulfilled?
Like number one, I told him to national dialogue.
He did that.
Yeah, he did that, but the way he did it,
there you go.
It's questionable. It's questionable.
But at least he did
Yes, but it's questionable.
Okay, what about number 2?
Yes, like number 2, I wanted him to put more emphasis and to focus on building the campus the university campus.
Oh, he did that. He did.
Yeah, he did that. Okay.
Well, at least he did. Yeah. He did where he found it. He continued. Yeah.
Yes, that was also part of my. And you could even see, you could even trace this on my Facebook account.
Number 3.
Yes, number 3. To rationalize the ports authority. To make sure that we have a very strong ports authority, because today if
he's doing that, isn't it?
No, he hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. Yes, he hasn't done that.
Okay, then let's go to number 4.
Yes.
So he failed in one now.
Yes. So he has failed in that aspect. Okay. Number 4, it is to make sure that to promote a very good governance.
Okay.
To promote good governance. I'm not saying it in accordingly.
No, it's not in order, but
not in it. Yes.
But how did he do?
No, he's failing on that.
Oh well.
And this is one of the fundamental reasons why I've moved away. That I no longer support him.
You've only said 4, and you got 2 out of. He got 2 out of 2.
But those 2.
We don't need to.
Time factor. We cannot.
Yes.
And that's why I ask you, how many have he done with us?
Just 2.
Above average or below average?
No, below average. Definitely below average.
I hope Mr. Barrow is listening. Okay, gentlemen. Jawo, you want a parting word on PASTEF?
What I'm saying, we can maybe Senegal. Look at the implications of the PASTEF win to the Gambia.
That's what we had.
Well, of course, that's quite significant as well because of the special relationship that exists between the Gambia and Senegal.
But I hope
now, I'm sure President Barrow is a little bit worried. He doesn't know actually how PASTEF, what style PASTEF is going to take, what approach they're going to take, particularly with regards to the economic in this country.
Okay.
Because President Barrow wants economic to be maintained here for a while now. Yeah. But whether Senegal will continue maintaining economic in the Gambia here, that number
from what they said, they apparently will stay in ECOWAS. And I hope that whatever is agreed by the heads of states, authority of the ECOWAS, they will.
We understand, but Senegal also has its own special agenda as far as economic was concerned. Because they were actually wanted to have economic here so that they can be able to monitor what's going on in the Casamance region. Yeah. But now we know that the PASTEF is a little bit more sympathetic to the Casamance cause.
How do you know that?
Oh yeah, I have absolutely no doubt about that.
They have a large support.
There is absolutely no doubt about that. I have no doubt that with PASTEF in power, probably even the rebels will also. Unilateral ceasefire. No, not necessarily end, but unilateral ceasefire. I have no doubt about that. So that also is maybe going to impact on the Senegalese contingent in this country. Whether it is worth their while to continue funding a contingent in the Gambia when it is no longer necessary. Because they are going to have the sympathy of the rebels in the Casamance. That is one aspect that the government should be looking at as well. So I'm sure it has a lot of implications.
This is one sensitive area that even the governments in Dakar would not publicly address. Is that the Casamance issue? In fact, somebody told me, one analyst said, look, even if Sonko had contested this election, some of the things he would face is the people in the northern Senegal will obviously identify him with the cause of Casamance people, and that will affect his votes. And Joma is becoming a blessing in disguise because Joma is a non-Casamance, very much accepted by the Wolofs, the Serers, and that's why he found it very easy to win in areas who would have questioned Sonko's background.
Touba, for instance.
Touba, for example.
I really agree with such an analysis. Because Sonko was very much more identified with the Casamance people. Even though, Sonko, he just happens to be Sonko. But actually, he was born in North, in Chess, and his mother is Serer and other things. So he doesn't speak a word of Jola. But that doesn't really matter. But he's, more identified with the Casamance area because he's the mayor of Ziguinchor. And probably, as his suggestion, as that analysis goes, probably Jomai was a blessing in disguise.
Jomai, that's what they said.
Because if Sonko had gone, probably
they would have read him.
Some sections of the northern Senegal would have been suspicious.
They would have been suspicious of his background.
Anyway, the situation.
But when Jomai came, then he was accepted by the people in the north.
Right.
And in the middle, the Wolofs and other things. Whereas Sonko rallied the Jolas and the Mandingos and all others in the Casamas. So Jomai actually,
I think that was also a strategy, that made them to win in the first round. Because even if the issue is that Jomai, previously people believe that Sonko is from Casamas, he's a Jola.
They often said that.
He's promoting regionalism.
Yes, they often said that.
And now that Sonko decided to draw back,
a blessing,
and then give Jomai, who is also a Sere and from the north, and then people now, most people who even didn't support Sonko, supported.
They found more comfortable with Jomai.
Jomai supported him and saying, okay, then now this
that work that must have been in play.
Yes, that also had helped, and also President Watt also had played a key role.
His last minute endorsement actually helped, because he really is very much respected in the area of the Marabouts,
particularly in Tuba area. Yes.
So Watt still have, maybe he has all scores to settle with Maki. So he came in the last minute to. I found it ironical, because I thought Maki was supporting Abdoulaye Wade's son.
Yeah, but it was not logical for Watt to support Amadou Bah, because seeing that Watt's son accused Bah of conniving with the Constitutional Council to invalidate his candidacy. So for Watt son and Watt senior and the PDS in general to come and support Jomai was not something that was really expected or even acceptable. So the only thing that he could do to save, to survive again, is to support Jomai. And what is a strategist, because the whole system, they have gone. Like Idrissa Seck, Halifa, they have retired them.
Very experienced.
So I was going to ask, what's going to be the battle of Minyans, the Halifa Salles, what is going to happen to them now? The Idrissa Seck.
They hang up their books.
They forced them to retirement.
Dustbin now.
Retirement time.
And he defeated in all their polling stations. All of them.
Even where they voted.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He defeated them there. Can you imagine Idrissa Seck in Chess? This man coming to Halifa Sallah in Grand Yoff.
I think it happened to even Yaya Jammeh, where he voted in Banjul Center. Was it Central or somewhere?
Central.
That's Makati Square. Makati Square.
He won there?
No, he won, but with a slim margin. I was there, observing us.
I was following the Senegalese election with some Senegalese, but eventually they abandoned me. I think when the results were, they left.
But I'm vindicated.
In 2016, I was tabulating results with some APRC supporters. You were tabulating in Sugura. They were at the polling station. They come with their books. So I was calling them. I said, how is it there? They are still counting. They were Jamu supporters.
The results are already there.
Every state, but they left. They left the place.
Well, let's only hope that President Barrow is and his people are learning actually from the situation, and they are aware of the possible implications of the Jomai win in Senegal.
And there should be a win-win relationship. We have to ask, the Jomai and Sonko administration, their foreign policy is that they are the language which I read. The way that they had the language that they are using in their project is very respectful, meaning we are going to work with our partners, we are going to collaborate with our peers. Okay, remember, this is very important. There once during Jammeh's time, what once called him my son. He said, "No, don't call me my son. Don't call me your son, because I'm your brother. We are equal." Okay. So in this context also,
even told him I came to power before you.
Yes. So in this context also, Barrow shouldn't see him as his son or much brother, younger brother. They are brothers. Okay.
No, in fact, the dynamics are different, because Jomai come from a big brother.
So talking about that, definitely we need to talk about our security issue in the country, which this current government don't want people to talk. You know, yes, you know, they've sent their bulldogs, you know, trying to, you know, castigate, trying to prevent people like us, people like Yanko Dabo, who are talking about the security issues of the country to keep quiet. This is what they say. If you talk about security, you are not a patriot. This is what. So they are a little bit panic about what's going to happen, you know, when these people take over. But what we are saying is that, you know, we want a sovereign security.
I think
we need to discuss about that.
It's a sensitive matter, but the thing is, I think the Senegalese government will still remain to observe the international protocols that establish this economic, for example, as well as the bilateral relationship between the Gambia and Senegal. There might be changes, yes, but not radical and so fundamental and you know,
that is not irrational. The issue is that President Barrow should definitely try to work.
No, the Senegalese will be concerned with security in the Gambia because they know that everything is linked. If there is instability here, it's likely to affect Senegal.
Yes.
So whoever comes to power in Senegal will be very careful not to contribute or to spark any instability here. If their policy is going to result in that, they will change.
President Barrow should not only think of his security. He should also think of the security of the people and the security of the next president who is coming. Because if he happens to leave, you know, without putting a proper reform,
security reform,
that's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem.
That's understandable. Well, I know, that's why I asked the question, how apprehensive or concerned should Gambians be, and that means everybody, Gambia government, president, and the last citizen in Banjul, how the new government in Dakar is going to work in terms of relations with the country. But I know for sure that they will be interested in the peace of the country. They will be interested in the common things that bind the Gambia. There may not be radical, drastic changes that can cause instability. No, they won't do that.
But do you know that also, something, do you know that Senegal can use the dalasi? Can join with the Gambia and use the dalasi? Ask me how. Ask me how.
Unlikely.
I don't
know. I say, do you think it is possible?
Unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Unlikely.
Yes.
Okay,
but it depends. That depends on the Gambian people. That depends on President Barrow. He can tell him, okay, Mr. President Jomai, I've had your. You said that, you know, you want to come out of the
withdraw from the
withdraw from the CFA.
Can you come
so we are inviting you to come. You know, we use in the spirit of Senegambia.
It will take beyond the Jomai presidency for Senegal to be linked from the CFA.
We already have a dalasi. We already have a dalasi. We already have a currency.
No, I think
we already have a currency. So why not you come? You join together. We develop this currency.
I think the logical objective is for them to pursue the ECO.
That is their first. That is their first strategy.
That would have been the way out.
That is their first strategy. But they said, in case if that did not work out, they are going to create their own money.
Okay. Maybe so, Teranga.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
So just to, I think if you look at the policies of the PASTEF, the way that they operate, they run a very Pan-Africanist ideology, which, as Mr. Bah has already highlighted, borders with partnership, especially amongst African countries. So I can see fostering good relation. We've already seen President Barrow's statement, you know, welcoming the new administration. Obviously, I'm sure it would have been a lot warmer had Macky Sall's candidate had won. I'm sure it might have been a slightly different tone to that. But I think there's nothing for Gambia to be worried about.
No, I don't.
But more, it's time for us to embrace that.
Exactly.
About the currency, which I think is very important, is if Gambia was in a stronger position economically, because currently we are losing, the devaluation of the dalasi against the CFA is killing us.
But sorry. But no, that is not it. You know why? No, you continue. You continue.
You're going to come.
Yeah.
You're going to come. So if at all the Gambian dalasi was appreciating, was, you know, increasing in strength towards the CFA, I would have said that there is a possibility. Even though there is that big brother, small brother mentality that is in between Gambia and Senegal, we have to be honest about that. So these are the two reasons why. You know, that mentality is still there. And our currency is not getting stronger.
No, in fact, we can't because, you know, the CFA's one, the advantage is they belong to a zone.
Exactly.
International currency.
And it's an international currency. So the Gambia currency is nothing.
S'il vous plaît.
That is why at the beginning.
Let me explain this. S'il vous plaît. I use s'il vous plaît. Okay, you know, the issue of this currency, there are three things. Sovereignty. Is it your own currency? Are you printing your own currency? The second thing is that, you know, how strong is your economy? What are the
GDP?
The elements, you know, the products that you produce in your country that you could use in exchange with other foreign currencies.
Yeah, foreign currency.
So now in this case, like for example, Gambia has dalasi. So we are sovereign. It is our own money. Yes. You know, we print it ourselves. We have the deposit belongs to us. Compared to the CFA, which the CFA, you know, the deposit, you know, they have a deposit at the French Treasury bank.
That is the crux of the matter.
Yes, which is a problem. But now Senegal having oil, gas, zircon, gold, you name them, all of these elements available.
So you mean now if they are wary
yes,
of becoming more of a milking pot now?
Yes.
They will have more milk for France to tap from.
No, not France to tap from. France has already subdued.
Anyway,
France has already subdued.
We have to close.
Yes, France has already subdued.
Yeah.
With Emmanuel Macron's Wolof statement. You know, he congratulated Bassirou Diomaye Faye both in French and in Wolof.
But that would not mean that.
It means.
Senegalese are too smart for
Anyway,
that.
it's exactly 2 o'clock and we have to wrap up to make way for another program. This has been The Brunch. I'm very much happy that you joined us and really followed our analyst on the domestic and international issues, particularly our neighbor Senegal. Thank you very much, journalist Yusuf Tailor, the Honorable Momodou Bah, our academician and politician in the house, Demba Ali Jawo, veteran journalist. Thank you very much for being on The Brunch again. We hope to meet you next week. Until then, goodbye for now.
Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024, the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make a difference.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona Head Office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980 8483 340 9400 or 635 9906.
Jamu Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamu, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamu Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Brusubi opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited, or email us at info@jamunomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamu Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamu Money Transfer.
Agada di.
Mbijano aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay.
Korsan.
Nsila ID soto.
Ha, sa soto. Sorry. Agada di.
Mbijano bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare. Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom Yona Forest de Bureau. Gambia tonkon na lo mbari ya bere. Ha. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon ni fo bolong blabe ko.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono anin Gambia e bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi man domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Ha e wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
barka ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abarka.